crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I have a video showing you a variety of ways to use washi tape. This video is being sponsored by Unitystar, and I'm going to be showcasing their tape in the video today. I have the black thin graphic tape from Unitystar, and it's different than washi tape because it is much thinner than most washi tape, and it has more of a plastic shiny texture. So it doesn't tear apart as easily as washi tape, but it has a lot of fun purposes in the classroom and is very thin and precise. I'm going to show you a fun way to make a graphic project with that later in the video. However, what I'm going to be using throughout most of the video is this pack of 28 washi tapes from Unitystar. I found that they were a really good variety pack. There are, like I said, 28 different rolls, and they have some things that are perfect for holidays without being like too holiday specific. Like there's hearts for Valentine's Day, or really pretty pastels that would work well for Easter without having like Easter eggs on them, so that they're only good for Easter. There's ice cream for summertime and cupcakes for birthdays, and so I found that I was able to make quite a few fun projects with them, and I could see using them all year long. To get started, I just wanted to kind of get a feel for each washi tape, and so I kind of swatched them out for myself so that way I could see how thin they are in terms of how opaque they are, because washi tape that has a mostly white background is more see-through than washi tape that's really colorful. Like, for instance, there's a blue stripe on the left side, and because there's so much color on it, you really can't see through it to the paper as much, so I thought that was helpful to know. And some of the washi tapes are a little bit thicker like that. So I'm just going to put them all out to kind of see how they look and see how they might match together. One thing that I liked about this particular set of washi tape is the patterns had little bits of coordination between them. Like the cupcakes have this light blue color, and there's a light blue chevron that matches it. Or they have this pinkish color, and there is two washi tapes in the collection that match really well. One that is more solid pink, and then one that has just pink dots on it. So some fun ways that you can use washi tape are to personalize the decorations that you use in your craft room or the office supplies that you use in your craft room. So I know a lot of crafters are also planners. They like to have pretty planners to keep track of everything that's going on in their lives, or for me, I like to keep track of what's going on in my classroom, so for work, and I wanted to show you how you could decorate some paper clips or binder clips. Paper clips can be really simple. You can just thread the washi tape through them. In this case, I wanted it to be thinner and a bit more controlled, so I folded the washi tape in half. I fed it through the top of the paper clip, and then to secure it, since it was folded in half and lost its stickiness, I wrapped a different washi tape around it, and I kind of like that way of mixing and matching different washi tapes. And what's fun about it is you can coordinate it to the washi tape that you're using in your planner. So if you like to put strips of washi in your planner, you can cover your paper clip in that same washi for the week, then tear off the washi and match it to your the next washi tape you use the next week. And you don't have to feel guilty about it because it takes so little washi to cover these clips, and everything can perfectly coordinate. So to cover the binder clip here, I just laid the washi tape on carefully, and I was able to just trim off the excess. Sometimes you can tuck the excess in, but I find that with the clips you don't want to have a bunch of extra sticky on the inside. Another thing you can do is customize your pencils to match your space, or again to match your planner or whatever you're working with. If you like to have a bunch of pretty pencils on your desk to coordinate with your favorite colors, and again you can change it out. And that's what's so nice, is even midway through using the pencil, if you want to mix it up, if you want to use the heart washi for February and then it turns to March, you can go in and get one of the green washis and change it out. So here I'm just taking the washi tape, I'm cutting one end of it flat and then or straight, and then I'm laying that against the eraser edge, pulling the washi all along the pencil to the tip, and carefully but firmly wrapping it around. And you'll notice that there are some washi left at the very top by the pencil point, And you don't have to worry about trimming that up, because if you smush it down, once you put it into your pencil sharpener, the pencil sharpener will remove that excess washi and it will have a perfect finished edge with very little effort. And so that's my completed pencil. I think that it worked well with a white pencil, but you could totally do it with a plain yellow pencil as well. Another fun thing to do with washi tape is to label your supplies. I'm going to label 2 bottles that I have in my craft room because their old labels were looking kind of raggedy, and I thought that the new washi tape that I had from Unitystar would coordinate better and look prettier in the end. So I'm going to relabel them, but I think that labeling school supplies, labeling drawers, all of that would be great. And again, you can change it up, mix it up, and match whatever you're working with. So here I am just going to cut strips of washi and wrap it around the bottle. I chose the purple washi tape from the Unitystar pack just because it went well with the purple water bottle, and because it has a relatively small pattern, so it's still easy to write on. Some of the bolder patterns, like the big dot pattern, might not work as well, but the small stars, the small polka dots, all of that would be great. There's a couple different chevron patterns in the pack, and I was thinking, what's nice about this for school supplies is kids kind of like things to be new and different, refreshed pretty easily, and I think that as adults we kind of like that too. So being able to change up your supplies regularly by changing up the washi that you're labeling them with, like these bottles have been in my craft room for years and they're super useful, but having a fresh coat essentially of washi, or like a fresh dew on them, for me makes like them just, because they sit in front of me, they stay close by because I use them frequently, just kind of puts a smile on my face to see them new and fresh. And to write on washi tape, all you need is a Sharpie marker. Alcohol-based markers work pretty well. They dry on a lot of different surfaces, and so I just found a Sharpie to be easiest. Another thing that I wanted to add a little bit of decoration and interest to in my craft room is these plastic drawers. I think a lot of us have plastic drawers, and you can use the washi for purely decorative purposes, because sometimes, seeing all the stuff you have inside the drawers is a good thing. Sometimes you don't want to see it. And so in this case, since I don't really need to see inside the drawers, I decided to cover them with some of my favorite washis from the pack. There was this mint and gray chevron and or light green, and the light green or mint that has some little cactuses printed on it. And so I'm just laying down strips of the washi, real simple, and I'm going to cut off the edges by turning it over. You could also tuck the edges over, but I'm just thinking with pulling the drawer in and out, they might eventually catch on the side of the drawers. However, kind of just experiment and see how it works for you. I trimmed it and then sort of pushed the little bits over, and that's going to make my drawer pretty. And if it ever gets a little bit messed up over time, a little bit dirty, I can just peel it off, make new ones, or just peel it off depending on my mood. So now that I've showed you some different ways of using it to sort of enhance and decorate your craft room, I also wanted to show you how you could just use it for crafting. And one new fun way that I had discovered to use it would be to personalize your envelopes. I always just seal my envelope with a bit of washi tape. I try to use the rectangle square flap envelopes, but I thought it would be really fun to cover the whole flap of the envelope in washi tape to coordinate with the washi tape card. So I'm going to show you first how to make the envelope and then the card. I simply put my envelope on, and I took the flap and laid it out so that I could cover the entire flap with washi tape, and I'm just laying it in strips. Once the entire flap is covered, I'm going to turn it over and trim it up. Really easy, but again, giving a little bit more fun. This won't interfere with sending the envelope at all because this will be on the back, not where you put your address. But there are ways you can add it to the front where you put your address as well, creating little blocks where creating a rectangle around an address to bring some attention to it, or later on I'm going to use stripes on an envelope with the black washi tape. So you can really kind of be open to however you want to use it, but I thought the flap was a nice detail and kind of a surprise when they turn the envelope over. I mean, how fun would it be to receive that in the mail? So I wanted to show you quickly how I made the coordinating card. I do have a video where I made a very similar card, and I will link that in the video description, but just so that we can have all the projects in one video, I'm going to show it here. So I laid a piece of cardstock down on my work surface. My work surface is a grid paper, and that's particularly nice when working with washi because it allows you to lay things down straight. I can match up from one side to the other of the grid paper. And so I'm just going to put down layers and layers of washi tape in a striped pattern, just like I did with the envelope. And so that way, again, it will perfectly coordinate. Imagine someone going to the mailbox, seeing that little surprise on the envelope, and then opening it up, and the further surprise of it all coordinating. And I just kind of picked a stripe pattern that I liked. I wanted to use some of the cupcakes because I think that even though I'm going to put the sentiment hugs on this card, I think that you could then still add a birthday sentiment inside or keep it without birthday because those aren't necessarily explicitly birthday cupcakes. So you want to tuck the edges of the washi underneath the cardstock or just trim up the cardstock because I like to put a little bit of a mat around my washi tape panel there. So my card is A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The black piece, or the dark gray piece, the big piece of dark gray cardstock, is a 1/4 inch smaller on each side, and then the washi tape panel is another 1/4 inch smaller on each side. Then I took some hugs die cut, so it's a steel die that cuts the word hugs, and I cut it a few times and I stacked it on top of each other just to make it thicker, kind of like a chipboard embellishment, but you could buy a pre-made sentiment embellishment. They're pretty popular still if you don't have a die cut machine, and just tape that over, or you could simply use Sharpie marker to write on it if you don't have a lot of crafting supplies. I wanted to show another simple washi tape card rather than just laying the big wide stripes because I think that traditional thick washi tapes lend themselves well to that, either laying them in straight lines or diagonal, but layering them up just stacked on top of each other to create a pattern paper. I want to show something a bit different, particularly with that thin washi tape, the thin graphic chart tape. I thought I liked how it was shiny and thin, and I just thought it would make like a really bold, clean graphic card. So I just kept cutting strips of it and laying it in diagonals across my card in pleasing ways, in sometimes in groups of 2 or 3 or even just 1 stripe. I generally found that I like to have more than 1 stripe though. And again, I'm using that grid surface that I'm working on to help me line things up, but I'm just angling the cardstock this time so that the straight lines of my grid are helping me to create an angled piece on the finished piece of white cardstock. You could of course just use white paper, again, just depends on what you have, but none of this requires anything super fancy in terms of supplies. You can trim up the tape from the sides or tuck it under. I showed tucking under once, trimming it up once, just so that you can see whatever way works for you. I find it easier to hang it over than try to measure it exactly before I put it down on the card. And so I'm going to keep going till I have a pattern that I like. And then I thought I would stamp some sentiments on it. Again, I'm going to try to keep it really clean and graphic, so I'm just going to use black ink to stamp hello. The cards turned out slightly different each time, and that's fine because you can just kind of fit in your sentiment wherever it goes. So I had a couple different size hello stamps that happens to be from Create a Smile, the stamp set, and I'm just going to fit them in where they fit. Again, if you don't have stamps, that's fine. Just write in the sentiments. You can even print some sentiments off your computer, like print it from a Word document and trace it, and then trace over it with like a dark black ink to give a similar look so it looks nice, neat, and professional. Because I know when you're trying to do a clean and graphic card, it's good to have that clean and graphic sentiment as well. And so that's why I picked these hello. And again, I'm just going to put it on a black mat to help it give it a more finished look. That's a good tip if you're new to card making. So that's it. 5 different ways to use washi: personalizing supplies, labeling supplies, making cards, decorating envelopes, creating a pencil. Just so many fun things that you can do with washi tape. As I mentioned, this video is sponsored by Unitystar, and they have an excellent set of washi tapes. I tried to feature as many as I can so you get a good feel for what they have. So you can find their links in the video description below to check them out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. You can also find links to my different social media and project ideas in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye!